This is a girl, George, and the Dragons Radio Show coming from rainbow-drenched Berkeley, California, from the San Francisco Bay Area. Boy, are they celebrating here. You could hear them clear from San Francisco over here. Everybody here is dancing and singing and celebrating. Boy, the left coast, left-wingers are really on a roll this week. So we're going to talk to one of my rebel friends from L.A., from Al's Bar, which was the punk club in L.A. They had a no-talent night there where if they didn't like you, they threw cups at you. And this guy one night was throwing chicken bones at the acts. So this is one of my favorite acts from Al's Bar in L.A. The punk club ain't there no more. This is Ziggy. Hi, Ziggy. How you doing?
Hello, George. How you doing, sweet rockin' mama?
What have you been doing lately?
Well, I've been thinking about jamming, at Al's Bar, but it don't look like Al's Bar out there. I just saw a picture you posted. Well, maybe we ought to take some paintbrushes, go out there and paint it up a little bit for them.
Well, actually, they have painted it since it was white. I've seen pictures of it since they put a big mural of Indians on there or something.
Yeah.
They should put a picture of me on there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They should put a picture of your tattoo, huge, by that airplane. Remember that airplane?
Remember No Talent Night?
Yeah. How could I not?
Tell us about No Talent Night.
Everybody's crazy but you, girl. Boy, did we have fun. That was a fun time, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I got some stories.
Did you play No Talent Night too, or just on the weekends?
No, I played No Talent Night. It was my favorite night. I was the famous cat smasher, remember? I smashed my neighbor's cat, the only one he had, and now everyone is mad. Kessler didn't like it too much, but it was okay. It's all right. He let me play. I was a little bit too much.
Too much? Didn't like what too much?
My gig, my act. It was just too crazy.
He didn't like anybody.
Oh, is that what it was? Yeah.
He heckled all the acts. He'd say, "We promise no talent, and we deliver." And he would instigate him into throwing cups at the people. He was mean.
He was a mean, grouchy old dude. I remember him. The only guy he was scared of was Cliff at the door, and the guy was 8 foot tall, so that's all right.
I remember one night you were throwing chicken bones up at that act. I couldn't.
Oh, I remember so many nights. You remember those nights when those boys from across the border crossed the border just to come and see you, girl. They crossed from Mexico. They came all the way. There was about 6, 7 of them. And I don't know what happened. I think Cliff gave them chairs. And it was not, regular to have chairs right in front of the stage. It was like, wow, where those chairs come from. Because everybody was,
standing up. Were you there the night that we videotaped with Naomi and that fiddle player? That Naomi played fiddle?
Yeah, and then a friend of mine, crazy rocker Mike, he threw the video up with his hands. He was rocking, and the video camera just went flying. Remember that? And you got a little upset on that one. You were ready to smash your guitar on someone's head. or sticking with that sword. Shit. Nobody messed with you, girl.
Did you ever go to any of my love-ins there?
Of course, honey, I did. Sure, of course.
Well, tell me about it. Let's talk about it. Do you remember Captain Ed and George Clayton Johnson? He used to go there. He was
we were
a writer. He wrote a lot of Star Trek and Twilight Zone stuff.
That's right. I hung out with all the big boys. You know me. I've jammed with so many bands.
And the guy that wrote that book about marijuana, about the Emperor Wears No Clothes, he used to go there all the time too. That naked king. The Emperor Wears No Clothes. It was like the first book about marijuana. And Captain Ed used to go there, from the head.
Yeah, well, I heard they're legalizing hemp, up there. We got to have hemp. Everything's got to be made of hemp. your clothes, your chair, your sofa, your bed, your linen, and
Well, these guys are the ones that started that whole crusade of legalizing, medical marijuana. Was Captain Ed, and I think the guy, his name was Hare or something. The guy that wrote that book, Emperor Wears No Clothes, and George
Hare?
Clayton Johnson. They're the ones that started that whole movement, and they didn't live. George is still alive, but the other two, Captain Ed and the guy that wrote that book, they're dead now. But they would have loved that it's now legal. They would
have loved. Yeah, they didn't have to travel all the way to out there in Europe, Amsterdam or something. That's how I lost my drummer.
Like they did anyway.
Yeah, fucking drummer went out there and never came back. Shit.
I think the leader of Blue Cheers did that. The bass player, he moved over there somewhere. I don't know if it was somewhere over in Europe.
Yeah, we lost a lot of friends out there. He sends me a picture with two he, she's. I don't know if they were he or she, kind of mixed up. Told him, boy, you better get your head straight together, man. Come back over here and start jamming Cat Smasher with me. But I don't know. He's still in love out there. Yeah, it's good. Everybody smokes weed around here.
Do you ever go to that reunion they have around downtown L.A.? I've been gone for 20 years, so they have some kind of street party out there once a year.
Yeah, I used to jam for the L.A. street scene. I was on a contract with them for about 2-3 years. I jammed for all the, Toyota and all that bullshit, big ass LA street scenes and stuff. Huge, thousands of people. And I jammed for about 4 years. I met a bunch of people out there, but it was fun. It was real fun.
Do you remember Jesse Easter? Jesse Easter
sounds familiar.
He's a blues guy. He lived upstairs at the American.
He
still lives there.
He's still there? That old school?
Yeah.
Are
he
you
still
serious?
lives there. And he's a surfer.
Maybe he owns the place. Never know.
No. He just likes Al's Bar. He likes the hotel. He's been living there for 40 years.
I loved Al's Bar. Forget life.
Yeah, me too.
I loved it. I'm getting ready to go over there with a paintbrush. With a big marker.
Is there any new bars down there that there's an underground scene at? There must be somewhere.
Fudge.
He usually moves around, but it's usually somewhere else.
Ain't nothing. Ain't never, ever, ever, ever going to be anything like Al's Bar forever. That was the place. If you wanted to be a famous star or whatever, or guitar player or singer, you had to go to Al's Bar, baby, and you had to check out Girl George's tattoo. Stay away from that sword.
How about me singing on stage? What about that? Not just my tattoo.
Well, you were singing. You were singing. And they just wanted your tattoo too. It was a big deal. I mean, some people just couldn't make their mind. I loved your jam, of course. All the jams. Everybody's crazy on TV. Johnny Got Herpes. All that stuff was great. But
you make me feel like a whore, perverts everywhere.
Oh yeah, man, it was cool.
Beat me, kick me, tell me you love me.
Shit.
How about the patio there? Remember the patio at Al's?
That's where I was going. I was going to the patio to smoke me and Fatty. Over there.
That's what was really funny about Al's Bar. If you bored them, they would just completely empty the place and they'd all go out in this little patio and smoke drugs and
they zombie out
music.
over there.
We used to sing Beatles songs out there. One guy knew every Beatles song there ever was. We'd be singing harmony out there, A Day in the Life. I remember that. And then when the next act would go on, if they liked them, the place would fill up again. Because they'd all be out in the patio. But if you bored them, they would go out in the patio. Or if you really pissed them off, they threw shit at you. If they thought you sucked, they would tell you so, and they would throw their cups at you, their chicken bones.
Yeah, you'd be lucky. You'd be lucky if
whatever.
You get full cup of beer thrown at you. You drenching in beer.
No, I don't think they threw their beer. They wouldn't go a
No,
drop of beer.
it happened.
They would
happened.
drink it
half
and
a
then
cup.
throw it at you.
It was a half a cup. I remember somebody threw a half a cup. I'm sure he regretted it, but it was funny, One of my friends threw half a cup of beer up there like an idiot. Yeah. But yeah, the patio was famous patio. It was the oasis or the island of liberty in the whole city of LA. You could go in that patio and do whatever the heck you want to do, And nobody cared, and they had a big guy Cliff out there who could stop the whole police department by himself. Fudge. We had a good time in Al's bar, man. It was the best, I'm going to write books about that.
How about Stacy? What'd you think of her, the bartender girl?
Stacy, the bartender, the sweetheart. Oh, that little kitten, that sweetheart. She was so nice to us, man. She was the best. Hey, you remember those two giants used to walk in there once every great while? Two white guys, kind of like, I don't know what they were, man. Remember giants? They were giants. They were like bigger than Cliff, but I think Cliff was tougher than them.
Remember the Ringling Circus, or it was a punk band that the bass player, I think it was, wore kilts.
Yeah, I think they would come in for that.
He wore kilts, and he was like 6'4", gorgeous.
No,
guy.
These guys.
And he wore kilts, so he was wearing a skirt all the time, but he was cute.
6'4", wearing a kilt. Yeah, I remember that guy. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was a Ringling
right,
Circus or some weird name like that. They were a punk band. And TV used to go in there all the time.
Oh, there was all
and
kinds
Nirvana
of
and Hole.
Nirvana, yeah. I hung out with those guys. I remember they took me someplace to jam too. I hung out with all kinds of guys, but I was, it was like a dream. You half of the time you were zombied out. You were in another world. You didn't think you were, but you didn't know the movie was playing out. While you were at it. It's crazy time, really. Loved every minute of it, though.
Where are you from originally?
I was born in Russia, honey. Came here when
really?
I was 15. Oh yeah.
Are you Russian?
I'm Russian, yeah.
I thought you were Mexican.
I was gonna jam a Russian song for you, baby.
I thought you were
be
a Mexican like Carlos Guitarros. Remember Carlos Guitarros?
Oh, Carlos Guitarros, yes. I can be a good Mexican for you, honey. Good one.
He's back down in L.A. again.
I take you across the border. Oh, man. Carlos Guitar, where is he at anyway?
Goodness, I didn't know that. You were born in Russia?
Да, девушка, да, бабуля.
When did you come here?
Putin is my friend, baby. My buddy. He rides a bike.
When did you come to the U.S.?
Oh, it was, I left there in 1975. I got stuck in Lebanon, friggin' war over there for a whole year. I was 15 years old on the streets in the war. Didn't know the language, had to learn Arabic real quick. And then got out of there, and bastards thought my guitar was a machine gun. They stopped me. They had the rebels there, whatever they were. And they seen a machine gun. I mean, a guitar. So it saved me because it was a Russian guitar, and they didn't like Americans there, I guess, in that part of the place. And it was an old Russian guitar, kind of looked like a Gibson hollow body.
Mm-hmm.
And then they let us go. So we went to the airport, and we were out of there.
So who were you with? Your parents?
My dad showed him the Russian passport too. I was with my dad, my mom, brother, sister. We're traveling back to. I don't know why my dad decided to come to the United States. I have no idea. We were fine over there. We had everything. But
are you a citizen now?
Or
are you a Russian redneck? I mean, green neck, or what do they call
no,
that?
I don't have
a wetback.
No, I'm not even. I'm not a citizen. I went to Navy over here. I served my ass off over here, and I was eligible to become a citizen, but the deal was that you had to stay within the country after you sign up for it within 6 months, but I was never here 6 months. I did 5 Med cruises, 6 Caribbean, and a bunch of other things. I was always out there, so never could get my citizenship. So then when the Soviet Union broke down, I figured I don't have a country, to go back. So fuck it, I'm just here. I'm a moon man or whatever. I belong
weren't
to
you married to an American? Weren't you married to the girl?
No, I was married to another girl, but she took off back. She liked it over there more and took my daughter there. And
oh, she was Russian.
Yeah, she took off back over there. She was a lot younger than me. She didn't like me jamming. She always complained about me shaking my ass on the stage. I told her, baby, I'm going out there jamming. I'm not even shaking my ass. I'm doing serious gigs. I was jamming for serious stuff. Big, dinner parties, weddings and stuff. Pay good money. $500 a night. Uncle Sam free. So, but she couldn't understand it, and she was complaining, and I said, well, I can't do it. I can't stop. I got to deal with this guitar, since I was a kid.
So how long were you with your last girlfriend?
Oh, my last girlfriend, she was a sweetheart. That's Jessie Jane. Some asshole shot her up there. She went to see her dad. Jessica Jane Hare. She passed on the 25th April. And she was out there, she went to see her dad and up there in Phillipsville, California. I don't know where the heck it is, but it's nice. They got a little river there. And I guess she was too pretty, and some idiot wanted a little more of her or something, and he was hard up and shot her, but I'm glad she didn't have to suffer too much,
Oh, I thought it was done by mistake. Somebody was just shooting off a gun and it accidentally hit her.
Well, I don't know the story fully. Nobody told me anything yet, I don't know the details. So first they said it was by accident, and they said the guy got a $1 million bail on him. Story changes. So right now there's a court thing going on.
So did they catch him? Is he in jail?
Yeah, they caught his ass. He was at home next morning, and he had a bunch of guns. There was some fucked up druggie up there, but he used to be the head of the fire department in that city. Go figure,
Great.
Fucking guy, man. What a dickhead.
Oh,
yeah,
well.
But she was a real rock and roll.
Off.
She knew every punk rock song out there. She was your big fan too. She was a big fan of yours.
Yeah, she was great. She was great on the web.
Yeah.
She used to talk to everybody. She was real friendly. Always had great posts. I don't remember meeting her in person, but I've known her a whole bunch on the web.
Yeah.
Because she was on it before you were on it. You weren't ever going up there, but she was always on it. And she was telling me about you because you went.
I didn't care about the web. It wasn't my thing. She did. Actually, she built all my stuff on the web. I never cared about it. I was just whatever, But then it kind of addictive, It's fun too at the same time. So I said, figure, whatever, I'll go with the flow. I won't resist.
Well, see, I love that I found all my old friends. I found people I knew 50 years ago. All the musicians I've known all over the world, in San Francisco and Nashville and New York and London.
Yeah,
they could be in other countries, and I can still
I
find them and
found people I
to
never knew.
Well, I've met new ones too, But it's real cool running into old people you haven't seen in a long time that you played with years ago. That's cool.
Yeah, that's really cool. I know. That's really cool. They're up there. They're out there. It's easy to get hold of them, and you don't have to wait for months for a letter to get there. It's cool. Yeah, I like it. You could jam too, produce yourself on the web.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
you
awesome.
You can send music
rocking,
back
baby,
and forth
rocking.
and all kinds of stuff. I've written stuff over the web with people.
Yeah, punking and a rocking on the web. MySpace.
Yeah.
Shit,
well, that
I'm
was the
thinking
first
about
one
MySpace.
that I could do it myself because you didn't have to know code for. I had websites before that, but you had to know code. So my daughter did it for me because she.
Yeah, I don't even know. I lost I lost mine. You know, it's just I had a lot of like 50,000 followers on it, and
No, it's
Jesse
still
had
on there.
said
Those things are still there. You just got to look it up. Cause I
I gotta
haven't
look
been
it up.
to my
Yeah.
that one in years, and every once in a while I'll go and look at it. It's still there. They're still there. You just got to find it. And you have to have Chrome. You have to be on Chrome because the old things won't go there. So you have to have Chrome, whatever that is.
Oh, the
you know
Chrome
what Chrome
thing,
is?
Yeah. Yeah, like on the bumpers, you're cruising down Whittier Boulevard, baby, in East LA, homie. You know, cruising down.
But
yeah,
if
they took off all
if
the
you
cruisers.
had a MySpace, it's still there. It's still there.
Yeah, MySpace
you just
is
gotta
there,
find
still
it.
there.
Because I've looked, and mine is still MySpace.com, and then go there and put your name in. You'll see it's still there.
Well, I don't know why. Every time I think about MySpace, I see your tattoo on your ass. I swear. I could be
You're obsessed
real
with
bad.
that tattoo, huh?
Yeah, I could be.
I got that tattoo back in 1971 with Lyle Tuttle.
Yeah, tell me about that tattoo, girl. Tell me about it. I want to hear more.
You know who Lyle Tuttle is? He's the one who tattooed Janis Joplin and all the musicians back in the 60s and 70s. He's the one that made tattoos hip. Before that, it was just like sailors and people in jail and hookers and bikers that got tattoos. After Lyle, it was everybody got tattoos. So he's the one that made it popular. He was like in the Rolling Stone magazine and Life magazine and everything. So he's been on my show twice before. And I went to a party he's got a museum at his tattoo shop in San Francisco now in Columbus. And he had a party in December, and I went there. So he's still kicking. He's like 83 years old. And he's still out there going to tattoo conventions.
His tattoos are a little shaky, though. The lines are a little shaky, huh?
Well, he don't do tattoos usually except for just his name. He'll write his name on people. Now, the first time he ever wrote his name on anybody was my tattoo. That dragon, if you look close around it, it'll say Lyle Tuttle around the tattoo because I told him to sign it. And then after he started signing everybody. He puts his name on everybody. So that's all he does at tattoo conventions. He'll one person a night. He will sign his name on them. He's that famous.
Do you remember that day well, or were you zombied out or something?
Well, I've known him since I was 16. I've known him for.
But I'm saying you
54
you
years.
Remember
no, I wasn't zonked out. I might have been on acid. We were doing a lot of acid. That's when I came back from. That's when I came back from New York. I'd been in Nashville with Star, and then we went to New York, and I went crazy. New York was fucking crazy. And
you don't even remember
Star
who
got
did the
bit
tattoo
by
on you.
bed bugs at the Albert Hotel, and her legs swelled up like balloons. So she went home to her daddy in Arizona, and I'm stuck in New York by myself in the freezing winter, and I'd never seen snow before in my life with no money. So our manager sent me back to San Francisco on Christmas Eve, and I ran into Lyle Tuttle, and I was crazy. I was crazy. And they were into acid then. That's right when he had just gotten famous, but I'd known him for 10, 20 years before that. So they just got into acid, and so he said, "Here, George," he gave me some acid. So he was on acid when he was doing the Allman Brothers tattoos, those intricate tattoos on their, on their armbands and stuff. So
yeah, he
so he did my tattoo, and then the next day I said, "Well, sign it for me." So he signed it for me, and so that's how he did his first signature was on my butt. So there you go, is my tattoo. We're out of time, my dear.
Oh, we are?
So
oh, man, what a bummer.
It was great talking to you, Ziggy.
Girl.
You're going to have to come up to the Bay Area sometime and play with me, okay?
I will. I swear I do want to. I love you. I think of you, and thank you for the radio show. I love it.
Okay, this is Girl George and the Dragons Radio Show saying
bye, you all.
See you later. See you later, Ziggy.
See you later, Georgie girl.
See you later.
I love you.
See you later, alligator.